What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ethan's Exotic Escapades. Today, we are going to a sanctuary in Conway, South Carolina called Wildwoods Farm. And we're going to go pick up a kangaroo baby for the sanctuary. And before we get started with this video, make sure you like and subscribe to join the tribe. And let's go ahead and head on over to the sanctuary and see what awesome stuff they have there and leave with a little baby kangaroo. I'll see y'all when we get there. We have just arrived, and this is the view as you walk in the front of the farm. From what I can see so far, the enclosures look very well made. Let's go ahead and see some animals. The first enclosure is on the right as you walk in. It houses these adorable bunnies. You can see they're very friendly. This one came right up to me. Everyone else in here was completely unbothered by me. Like this one over here laying down. He's probably thinking, I'm not getting up for you. I'm trying to take a nap. Right beside the bunnies was a chicken enclosure that had a lot of chickens in it. Some were hanging out under this cute tree, and they had common species in here, but also some barred rock chickens in here as well. They're the ones that are gray and black striped. But right outside of the chicken enclosure were these turkeys. They were trying to hide from me, but nice try, guys. I found you. The next enclosure had this huge sulcata tortoise. If you don't already know, they can weigh over 100 pounds and live up to 150 years. So definitely have to put these in a will because these tortoises are going to outlive you. Right after the tortoise enclosure was this big enclosure that had a lot of different farm animals inside. The first to greet us, of course, were these goats. They wanted attention immediately, so we decided to give them some pets. But not long after petting the goats, I noticed this llama starting to walk over towards us because it looks like he was getting a little jealous and he wanted some attention too. So here he is right in front of me now, so I tried to give him some pets, but he completely rejected my pets. But that's okay because this llama did want some pets, so I gave him a little chin rub. We'll take some other looks at this enclosure to see some of the other animals later in the video. On the other side, starting off, we stopped to try and see the African crested porcupines, but they were hiding in these big tubes, so couldn't really see him. You can just barely see his little booty. Right beside the porcupines was this very large exhibit that had a big pond in the middle. Inside there were multiple different ducks, but the coolest thing inside were the capybaras. Here's one right here. I think they look like huge guinea pigs. Capybaras are the world's largest rodent and can weigh over 100 pounds. They're also very good swimmers, so I'm sure they enjoy their very big pond. These were some of my favorite animals that I got a chance to see. Just look how unfazed he is with that duck walking right in front of him. And these other ducks sitting right across from him, he doesn't bother them either. Next was this enclosure that had some keel-billed toucans inside. These guys are naturally found in Central and South American rainforests. One really interesting thing about them is their large beak. It's made out of keratin, and it's completely hollow. After the toucans, we went over to this enclosure that had some squirrels inside. These are Prevost squirrels. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciation, but they are very vibrant in coloration, as you can see in this one right here. They are naturally from tropical forests in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Borneo. After checking those squirrels out, we decided to head back over to the farm animal enclosure again because we spotted some baby goats. But of course, as soon as I tried to get up close to them, they ran off. They ran away.
And then I spotted this sheep. Why does he look like he's plotting to take over the world over there? After escaping Mr. Sheep, we saw this enclosure with a Eurasian eagle owl inside. Eurasian eagle owls are one of the largest and most powerful owl species. They use their silent flight to catch all different kinds of prey. The craziest thing about them is they grow so large that they can even prey on small deer. So sounds like a nightmare bird to me. Oh, and I think he just winked at me, so he definitely heard what I said. Next, we saw these two enclosures that had two different pheasant species. One had red golden pheasants, and the other had silver pheasants. Pheasants are originally from Asia, but now have been introduced worldwide. They normally only fly short distances, but are capable of running very fast. Here's a little bit of a closer look at the red golden pheasants. You can definitely see why they get their name. They have that very bright coloration on their head. Beside the pheasants were these fennec foxes. Fennec foxes have to be my favorite fox species. They're naturally found in North African and Asian deserts. They're known for their large ears that get around 6 inches long and only weigh about 2 to 3.5 pounds. Fennec foxes are very vocal, using barks, shrieks, and howls to communicate. Here's one of them hiding in his little tunnel. Right beside the foxes were these striped skunks. They had a couple of black ones in here, along with one that was brown in coloration. Striped skunks are found all across North America, and they're most known for their spray. And they'll release this spray whenever they feel threatened. Here's a closer look at the skunks right here. It looks like they're having some lunch. Look at them, chowing down. Walking further down, we came to this enclosure that had another species of fox inside. These are bat-eared foxes. I'm sure you can guess how they got their name. Let's see if you can guess. I'm about to zoom up right here. Yep, it's because of their very large ears that resemble bat ears. Bat-eared foxes are naturally from Africa. They're also almost completely insectivores. But these guys are trying to take them a little nap, so we're not going to disturb you. Oh, never mind. Looks like we accidentally woke one of them up. Yep, we woke both of them up. Next, we went over to see the coatimundis. In this enclosure, they had two different species, the mountain coatimundi and the white-nosed coatimundi. You can see one of the mountain coatimundis digging a big hole inside of his enclosure. If you think they look similar to raccoons, you wouldn't be surprised to know that they're also a part of the raccoon family. Coatimundis have long snouts and ringed tails. They're also highly intelligent. Another interesting thing about them is the fact that they have double-jointed ankles that they utilize for climbing headfirst down trees. My favorite one was the white-nosed coatimundi. Look at him, giving himself belly scratches. He was so sweet. I've never seen one that looked like him in person, and he got fed up with being right in front of us and decided to go climb on to the other side of the enclosure. We'll see you later, buddy. Oh, nope, he's coming back. Yeah, I think I might want to get me one of these. After checking those guys out, we went over to the more pastured areas. The first one had this brown horse that wanted to greet us and get some pets, so we definitely couldn't deny this guy. We also saw this donkey, so we gave him some attention too. Just as I was about to leave, he came right back up to me again because he was not finished with his pets. And I tried to leave once again, and then he started sticking his face under the fence, so I had to come back. He was just so sweet. Before we left them, someone gave us their leftover food for the animals, so we decided to go ahead and give them some food. So we gave some food to this horse right here, and it absolutely destroyed those pellets. That horse did not want to share. We had to push his head a little out of the way so that we could give the donkey some food too. Look at the horse. I mean, it was not having it. It wanted more treats. But we had to try and share it with everybody. Across from them were a couple of other donkeys that came up to greet us. Here's the first one right here, which looks basically the exact same as the one that we just saw, but this guy looks like he is an old man. And then right behind him came this brown one, which I've never really seen a brown donkey before, I don't think, in my life. I really liked this brown one. He was very cool, and he thought that my hand was a little snack. We also gave these guys a little bit of food as well. Further down, we saw a bunch of cows. There were Highland cows, which are the ones that have long hair, and then the zebu, which were the cows that had humps on them. You can see one right there in the back right, and there were a couple of others scattered in the group. I took a little bit of a step over so you could see the humps on all of the cows. Look at how big the hump is on that white one. We decided to try and feed the Highland cow some food, but it was just not interested at all and wanted no part of the little snacks. So we kept on trying because this is one of my fiance's favorites, but it just didn't want any food. Then there was this dude just giving me the death stare. Next, we got to see this huge enclosure that had multiple kangaroos and wallabies inside. They even had white wallabies. I didn't even know that there were white wallabies, but I'm about to show you what they look like. I'm going to get a shot of a couple of them right here. There's one all the way in the back over there. And then this guy is eating some hay. Here comes one of the white wallabies around the corner also. Both wallabies and kangaroos raise their babies in a pouch on the front of their body. If you're wondering how to tell the difference between wallabies and kangaroos, let me help you out. Wallabies are smaller and more stocky than red kangaroos. They can get up to 6 feet in length, including their tail. Their face also looks shorter than the red kangaroos. Red kangaroos are much larger than the wallabies, getting up to a little over 9 feet in length, including their tail. Their face is also more elongated than the wallabies. Here's a closer look at one of the completely white wallabies. Then I got a shot of this red kangaroo laying down, just sunbathing. I mean, he literally looks like a person tanning under the sun. Right across from him was this cute little wallaby that came right up close to me to check me out. Look at him, coming right up to the fence. After seeing that wallaby up close, I came over to this red kangaroo who flipped over from laying on his back and wanted me to give him some pets. So I definitely had to give him pets. Look at him. He's getting as close as he can so that he can let me pet him. And we had some food left over, and we decided to give him some food as well. You can see him going crazy trying to get some of that food. Here's a look at how big this enclosure actually is. Beside them was a camel enclosure where we met this dude. Camels have humps on their backs that store fat for energy. So if you've heard that they use those humps to store water, that's actually not true. It's really fat. The craziest thing about them storing fat in the forms of humps is that this allows them to be able to survive for weeks without food or water. The reason they have developed this adaptation is because they're naturally from hot, arid, and harsh environments like deserts, where there isn't a lot of food or water resources for them. Across from the camel exhibit were these other cows. They had some royal yaks in here along with some small Highland cows. Here's a closer look at one of the royal yaks. And we even fed this cute little guy. Right beside them were these ponies and some miniature donkeys. Here's one of the ponies right here. We decided to give it a little bit of food, and it was definitely not complaining. And there's one of the miniature donkeys right there. We also tried to feed this pony, but the first one was not wanting to share any of its food with anyone. And you can see this donkey trying to scratch an itchy spot on his back. He was rolling all over the place. Right here was my favorite pony. It had a very beautiful color. And then we decided to try and feed one of the miniature donkeys. So we got one to come over here away from that first pony that didn't want to share with anybody and gave him a little snack. Then we let this horse beside the pony pasture have the rest of the food. He stuck his whole face in the container that we had. In here were also some mammoth donkeys, which you can see all the way in the back over there eating some hay. Then this beautiful horse came up to say hello that must have been hiding earlier because we didn't see him in the first pasture. So I decided to pet him, but I ran out of food, so sorry, buddy. As we were walking back, we got to see the other side of the farm animal enclosure from the beginning, where we saw a little zebu that we couldn't see on the other side. And of course, while we were looking at all the animals that we missed earlier, these goats came right up to us because they always want attention. And that sheep from earlier is still plotting to rule the world. After passing those guys, we went to this large enclosure that had a bear in it. This is an American black bear. American black bears are the smallest bear in North America. But when I say small, they can still get up to 500 or more pounds. They can also stand up to 7 feet tall, full grown. They're great climbers, swimmers, and can run up to 35 miles per hour. I decided to wait for a while, and I'm glad I did because he came as close as he could get to me. So I got a very good shot of this guy. Look at him coming right up to the fence to say hello to everybody. Hey, little guy. Well, I guess you're not that little. He was definitely bigger than me.
Hello.
Beside him was this family of olive baboons. Here's one of them right here. There was a male, female, and they just recently had a baby. And he was so cute. Uh-oh. This guy's having a little potty break. I guess you know which one's the boy now. After the male had his potty break, the female and the baby started to come up to the front. Here's the female right here. We had the owner right beside us here, so you can see how excited this female baboon got. She was trying to get her attention. And then here's the little baby that I was talking about, climbing all over the place. Olive baboons are incredibly intelligent. In the wild, they live in what's called troops. And troops can consist of up to 150 baboons and are formed as a hierarchy where the males and females will form alliances. And you can see how attached this baby is. He was jumping right back down to stay with his mama. As you can see, olive baboons are very curious, and they'll use communication in form of physical gestures and by using their voice. Watch this one communicating with its owner, trying to get some attention. Right there, it did a couple of different things. It reached its arm out, and it smacked its lips together and made that grunting noise. Those are all three different examples of communication that they will use. The male baboon did not want any part of us. You can see him back there just eating some snacks. Olive baboons also have very sharp and large canines, so you don't want to get bitten by these guys. I just can't get over how adorable this little baby is. Just look at him go. Right next to the baboons were these Java macaques. Java macaques are endangered primates naturally from Southeast Asia. They have long tails and funny looking facial hair. Look at this guy climbing up and you'll see, looks like he's got an old man beard. Yep, I'm talking about you, buddy. Next, we saw these ring-tailed lemurs. Ring-tailed lemurs are also endangered primates. They get their name from the rings on their long tails, and in the wild, they will be in troops of up to 30. Beside the lemurs was a weeper capuchin monkey, which was hiding from me for a while until he came out of his house. This is my dream monkey. I don't know what it is about capuchin monkeys, but I just love everything about them. Just look at this guy eating up there. He has no care in the world. After seeing that guy, we got the awesome opportunity to go inside of the sloth house to see the sloths. And one of them even had this adorable baby. These are two-toed sloths. Two-toed sloths are very slow-moving, arboreal mammals, and they're naturally found in Central and South American rainforest canopies. They sleep up to 20 hours a day and take forever to digest food, and also spend their entire life almost hanging upside down. How crazy is that?
Baby sloth.
Next, we went across from the sloths to see the zebras. Zebras are known for their completely white body with black stripes. Did you know that every zebra's pattern is unique? So not a single zebra has the same stripe pattern. I just think that that is crazy. They're basically like our fingerprints on our hands. After checking out the zebras, we went to go see the snow macaques. Here's one of them right here. Snow macaques are naturally from Japan. The crazy thing about snow macaques is they can survive winter temperatures as low as -4 degrees Fahrenheit because of the thick fur that they'll grow. Snow macaques are also very intelligent creatures and known for being very social. The final animal we went to go see was this African serval. African servals are wild cats that have huge ears that give them excellent hearing. They have very long legs compared to their body size. These guys can also get up to 40 pounds and can launch themselves 10 feet into the air to pounce on their prey. So it sounds like African servals could probably play in the NBA. Now that we've checked everything out here, we are picking up this cute little baby red kangaroo that's taking a nap in its sack. All right, we've got this little baby kangaroo. Now you can see it a lot better because we've opened up the pouch for you, but it's just curled up in there and it is, trying to take a little nap, but sorry, little buddy, we had to wake you up because we wanted everyone to see how cute and adorable you are. Now we've got a long drive back to Milele Wildlife Sanctuary, so we're gonna go ahead and bring you there.
All right, we're almost back at the sanctuary, but had to make a little stop for this guy because I'm sure that this little kangaroo is hungry. You want some milk? Yep, I think you do. Look at how cute this little kangaroo is. Wow, you were really hungry. You did have a very, very long drive, so I understand. But you're almost home. It sounds like his stomach is growling. Or her stomach. Because this is actually a little girl. All right, I'll let you finish up your food in peace. All right, that's going to do it for today's exotic escapade. I want to give a big thanks to everyone at Wildwoods Farm. That place was awesome, and they're doing a very good job at their sanctuary. And also, the kangaroo is home safe, and we're home safe, and it is very, very late. It is after 1 a.m., so I'm ready to go to bed. But if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to join the tribe, and I'll see you on the next one.